an address before the first Spiritual Summit Conference in Calcutta, Thomas Merton said, "My dear brothers and sisters, we are already one. What we have to become is what we already are."
In this becoming one, you've had quite a lot of experience on your spiritual journey, and this began with the Lakota Indians in what you have called the passing over. Could you tell us about this experience that you had and what effect it had on the Indians around you?
Well, it was a major experience in my life, certainly. And I discovered a new universe of experience and meeting with other cultures. And I felt that a great affinity for the Lakota culture. And so on the reservation where I was for some time, working as an amateur cowboy, and I felt a great affinity to them, and I was drawn into their world. And I felt it was a profoundly spiritual world, a human world, a world that beckoned me to enter more and more there. And I got to know the individual members of the tribe. I worked with them as an amateur cowboy, as I think I said. And in the evening, after my routine work, I made it a point to go out and visit some of the major members of the tribe and ask them about their vision of the universe. And that was very illuminating for me. And it opened up a whole world, a world I didn't know existed, and a world that I was drawn into very spontaneously. And so for the rest of my life, I was on a quest to explore not only the Lakota people, but other cultures of the world, so that I could enter into a phenomenon that many people have shared, that it is to enter into a spiritual universe that is at the same time a profoundly human universe. And so I had the idea that there are many other universes in the world that were beckoning, and it would be a marvelous enterprise to pursue this call, you might say. And so I moved from one place to another in this event, and so the rest of my life has been a spiritual journey into various cultures, to various people, and being enriched by them all, and sharing whatever I had of myself with them. And it's a never-ending journey.
You said that this passing over experience was one that you used the rest of your life, and that you thought that you could use this to explore other realms of religion and culture.
Right.
And the next place that you went was Jerusalem, where
right.
you'd already had the experience of the Jews and you did meet them there, but you were looking specifically for Islam.
Right.
And who did you meet, and how did you get acquainted with that world?
Yeah. Well, that was one of the greatest experiences of my life, to spend that year in Jerusalem. And the circumstances were extraordinary. There were a number of people. It was one of those, you could say, magical times, when there was a convergence of energies and people and so forth, and Protestants and Catholics were getting together. So through a friend of mine, I was invited to join in that time. And So I was very happy and privileged to do this. And I thought, what an opportunity, because here I am in Jerusalem, and the Muslim population is very powerful there, extremely powerful. And I would like to look into it and get to know it. So I thought, well, that would be easy. I could just go to some friends or acquaintances and ask them about it. But it led nowhere. I really got, I was amazed that there was nobody who would tell me about getting into the world of Islam in this fashion. See? And so eventually, word did get out that I was looking for such a person. And that was true. So I was introduced to Abdul Jadil, who spoke English, and I didn't have to learn a new language. And also, he was at home with Christians because he had been treated because he had some physical disabilities and he was treated by Christians in Jerusalem. So it was the perfect setting. And I got to know him well, and we agreed that he could come and visit at where we were living in Jerusalem. And this would be on Thursday night, because the holy day for the Muslims is Friday. And we would make plans. The next day we would go together to a mosque. And I was invited to join into the ceremonies, as I did. And the sheikhs were always very friendly. And they said, well, welcome, welcome. So each Friday, I went through that procedure, and then that led to other connections, and I followed this trail, you might say, up in the mountains out of Hebron, way up in the mountains, and to worlds I had never imagined I would see ever in my life. Mm-hmm. And then always I was received with honor and respect and so forth. And so I felt very, very much at home in this world. And I recommend to other people, if you're interested in getting into the world of Islam, you will be received into that world graciously and honored for your own background. So I've had these very positive experiences with Muslims throughout that whole year, and then later when I would go back to Jerusalem, I would connect with the people again as I knew them. But there was something archetypal, almost magical about going up in the mountains, up in Hebron, and higher and higher.